Hello there, people. Schizo here, and normally, when I think about my opinion in regard to an upcoming change or existing content in this game, it isn't very hard for me to get a baseline on what I think. One of my favorite things about Dead by Daylight, compared to other games, are perks and how they synergize. Whether it's with another perk or a killer's power or add-on, it's fun to come up with unique and fun builds in Dead by Daylight. With the most recent 8.7 PTB, there's a whole lot to be excited about. Orilla Rose joins the cast, and I absolutely adore her and her new perks. I think they're a thematic success for her, and she herself looks brilliant. I think a lot of the changes are a long time coming, like skill check buffer when coming off of gen, so they no longer explode in your face when you let go to go do something else. The quest system, rarity color changes, which I didn't expect but I'm fine with, positive Kaneki adjustments that make him much more fun to play as and against, and I have played several games against, and oh my god, it is so much better night and day. And then there's haste and hinder stacking being removed. And that is the thing that got me thinking about whether or not my concerns about it are valid, and whether or not the community is overreacting, and ultimately why we do this when it could be fine and PTBs aren't set in stone. Initially, I had been thinking that maybe a cap would be the best way to go about this, and I still maybe think that, but ultimately, the whole ordeal got me thinking about the future of builds, DVD, the perks within it, and I've had a great deal of writer's block for this video. It's easy to get caught up about the direction the game you love is going in. At the end of the day, especially something like a multiplayer game, I got into DVD because it had so much more depth than I initially would have ever guessed, and that depth was extremely fun to explore. In the years since, I've seen the game change quite a bit. The vast majority of these changes have been positive for the direction of the game. Survivor HUD update, the much approved, and more on it later, 2022 meta shakeup, changes to problematic perks, base kit anti-camp and tunneling, base kit killer kick improvements, and just base kit killer improvements in general. So why was I so worried about these haste and hinder changes? Well, to start, there are valid reasons for my worry. Behavior can be slow to update some things, and even with this own PTB, I only see 2 adjustments to perks on killer and 4 on the survivor, which is a little lopsided. And you know, sometimes behavior even designs perks in ways that I find puzzling. Like, for some reason, Calm Spirit nerfs you with slow totem cleansing speed and chest opening simply for the trade-off of not screaming. Out of the hundreds of available perks in DVD, I would say that only a handful are relevant. Relevant, in this case, does not necessarily mean meta, either. It means they do something measurable to the match. A lot of perks like Poised, Premonition, Shattered Hope, and Hangman's Trick are, in my honest opinion, vestigial. They basically do so little that you could easily call them nothing. Not even just useless. Play with your food is a haste perk that I think really sucks. I hate to run it, and I think it's bullshit that you can abandon perfectly good chases and lose a stack of your haste token on a missed swing. Even so, even though I think it's genuinely shit, it does do something. I can't deny that when you make a concerted effort to use the perk, underwhelming as I may find it, it does something. Hangman's Trick, on the other hand, lets you see survivors within 12 meters of a scourge hook when you're carrying someone. Awakened Awareness does this without that requirement, by the way. And even then, among the most awful perks in the game, I think that perk is better than Poised, which literally just lets you see the killer Zara when you start a gen for the first time, only for the first time, and hides scratch marks for 15 seconds when you complete a gen. This is what I'm getting at when I say that scores of perks need to have real effects added to them. I don't want them all to be busted, but there are so many that basically do so little that they are effectively meaningless, and that sucks. Does this, however, mean that haste and hindered stacking being removed is going to destroy this game forever, though? Is behavior, in fact, my sworn enemy, trying to limit some of the more fun builds in the game even more? Are they arbitrarily declaring that all perks are now standardized and subjected to their sick, warped vision of perfect competitive balance? Is the sandbox build style DVD I know, adore, and love going to be gone in 8.7? No, it's not. Behavior's reasons for doing this are many, but it will help make other individual perks stronger in the future, and it alleviates the corner that they've somewhat designed themselves into in the past. I suspect they have to take some extra steps to do so carefully in the future. I think my biggest hangup has been trusting them to steer us calmly and carefully into that future without shock. I don't think that behavior is saying with this change, we actually hate build variety and we hate letting you get creative with builds at all. I'm just a worrywart that gets a little bit too worked up about the sky falling. And I very much want this kind of build creativity and synergy to be preserved in this game. I'm about to get vulnerable and share something dark with you. I am a World of Warcraft player. I'm not just a World of Warcraft player, but I prefer playing World of Warcraft Classic, a version of the game that actually does take you back to when the game was vastly different than it is today in pretty much every single way. Vanilla WoW. 2004 was a completely different time in gaming, and the release of WoW Classic in 2019 really allowed that fact to play out in front of thousands of people during the pandemic. Modern World of Warcraft is a far more streamlined experience. To keep this brief, because this is a DVD video, Classic Vanilla is much more of a sandbox. Most of the player interactions and activities are driven by the players, and this results in a more worldy feel to the game. There are systems to engage with, but there's also a lot of you making your own fun at times. Retail is designed to pretty much instantly send you where you need to go, keep you engaged with constant official activities, and is ultimately more about interacting with the systems within the game to provide a more convenient and balanced experience. Both are fine, but I prefer the former myself. I like that janky, weird, unbalanced, and more inconvenient game. One of the reasons I prefer playing DBD to other PvP games like League of Legends or Overwatch is because I enjoy that non-traditional multiplayer, that kind of hyper imbalance and less vacuum style gameplay. My other favorite PvP titles are Souls games, because I think things like Invasions are just far more fun and interesting than anything happening in Summoner's Rift or Burning T'Challa. I've never quite been able to place it, I just enjoy what I do. I'm also not trying to say, oh, DBD was so much better back in the old days when you could insta-mori people and insta-complete a generator with brand new parts. I didn't even play this game back in the old days. I have no idea what that was like, but a lot of stuff in it sounded like bullshit. But it did help shape this game, its community, and its overall vibe into what it is now, and I'm grateful for what this game is now. It's just a balance, and I think we should be careful to keep adding some of that strangeness into the mix, even when we're trying to standardize something like the overall health of the game's future designs. But behavior has changed things forever in this game for the better before, and this could end up being just that, is kind of what I'm getting at. Initially, I think that place that the fear was coming from was a fear that the DBD I fell in love with was slowly dying and being replaced with this game, or that it would slowly die and be replaced with this game that I don't recognize, that prioritizes one-size-fits-all design. But the more I've worked through this, the less that I really see that being the case ever. Things are changing forever, and they have before, but I can say that I think Aurella's perks are a great example of some thoughtful design that is also thematic, and actually works in some interesting and different builds. I don't want to just be some old man yelling at a cloud, fearing changes to my beloved game. Playing on the PTB so far, I ended up enjoying everything, and I see a lot of sirens blaring, but when I'm playing, no storm is on the horizon yet. Sure, there's room for improvement with many haste perks, and honestly many other non-haste and hinder perks as well, but maybe that design being opened up will allow for a more creative future, one where killers and survivors have the room to experiment with builds without fear of being shoved out of the match or watching gens fly by. There are almost certainly going to be dry spells, and I have to hope that behavior will try and alleviate this issue, because they've been doing a much better job about addressing player concerns and taking in more feedback in recent years than they ever were back in the good old days. Maybe in the end they'll see or decide that we're due for another big shakeup of a whole lot of perks, and they'll take some of these weirder, lesser used and seen perks and actually add and rework some effects that are meaningful to them. I am choosing to be more positive about the future of this game that I love because I have come to love it a whole lot. It's going to be seeing a whole lot of changes this year during the health patch, and I think it's important to be there to provide your feedback, test, and be a real good faith part of this community and try to make this game healthy for everyone alongside the devs instead of shouting at them and each other and jumping to immediate conclusions about their intent and what will be happening in the future. I am trusting that Behavior wants their game to be successful and enjoyable as well, because, I mean, it's so much better than just giving into this constant stream of negativity that I have seen from some people in this community lately. This video was initially going to be a discussion, actually, of why I hate this change. And ultimately, I don't think I'm going to absolutely adore it right away. But I do hope that the growth that it promises in the future bears fruit. And ultimately, I think that future is probably going to be better in the end. I expected to make a long-winded rant about build variety and how this change would be attacking it, but the more I play, the more conversations that I see, the more I thought that it might actually be healthier for all involved to calm down and assess this PTB in good faith. Provide feedback, see what Behavior is planning to do. I don't want to tie their hands up on design forever just because I like my haste build. And I also highly doubt that they're trying to take a hatchet to the concept of fun and tell us all to go fuck ourselves. Ultimately, this is a process that we do very well to be mature and thoughtful about on all ends, rather than just thoughtlessly putting doom and gloom out there with nothing constructive to say or do. And as I worked through this video, I caught myself and ended up with this message, actually. And I hope that maybe it can give a new perspective to some people who are also fearing the future or swearing off what's to come. I think that DBD is heading into a much healthier future. And I do actually look forward to assessing this game as it changes more and more over time. GG's, well played, and good luck in your next matches. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.